right, welcome in, you guys. I've been wanting to do this video for quite some time, and someone brought it up on our Thursday lives. We do a live interactive session every Thursday around empath issues, twin flame issues, some straight up North Node, what's my purpose kind of issues. So I am inviting you right now if you want to join us. It is a membership group. There's a link below. I'll drop that in the link or in the description box below. You're welcome to join it. Maybe we'll put a card up here. And you guys always come up with such great questions. So I wanted to do some kind of a little more research. I have a core of empaths that I talk to usually. If you're on my channel, you're probably one of these kinds of empaths. But there's many more kinds of empaths than you might have been aware of. All right. So I want to go through these. And the last one I'm going to talk about, closer to the end of this video, is really possibly the most powerful one. So if you stick around, that's one to really listen to, because it does have to do with more like a group of powers. Okay. I want to say that. So first, let's start out with what is an empath. An empath is someone who is on this planet, incarnated on this planet for the purposes of service. And also it's usually service through their heightened abilities. Okay. So your heightened ability could be a lot of different things. And I want to kind of clarify, because sometimes, we talk about, we kind of spread this term around empath as like, oh, it's one person, it's one kind of person. Everybody, oh, you're so sensitive, right? Like empaths do have a heightened sensitivity, but they have a heightened sensitivity to different things. Different empaths sense different things. And that's what I want to kind of outline for you today, so you can kind of understand where you are and understand who you are even more and open up to these gifts even more. Now, the second question that comes along when I talk about the kinds of empaths is, can I be more than one? Yes. That's the answer. You can be more than one type of empath. And sometimes I do feel like this is a little bit like certain things are needed at certain times. We mature in certain skill sets, or certain pieces of us mature differently over time. At some point, in our lives, this gift is more necessary than that gift. So this really comes to the fore. So these things can shift and change over the course of your life. So not only are you maybe more than one type of empath, but at different times in your life, different gifts come out stronger. They come out louder. So let's first just start with the emotional empath. Now, this is considered, I think when people think of what type of empath am I, this is the definition that comes to the fore, which is basically a heightened sensitivity to other people's emotions. All right. And that is kind of the baseline for, I feel, all empaths, or people who call themselves as empaths, really have this ability to sense other people's emotions. And it can come in a couple of ways. You can just feel like other people are being a certain way to you. You can feel through conversation and body language that other people are experiencing some kind of feeling. But there's another kind of empath that really focuses on body language. So I'll get to that in a second. But straight up empaths just read the energy of the room. This can come a lot of times. Children are incarnated into families where there's not a lot said about emotion. We don't, dad's angry, but there's no like outward expression of it, but like, it. Okay. And a lot of empaths are incarnated into these situations to heighten their ability to understand other people's emotions. Okay. To be tuned in. So it's not just enough of like, okay, well, obviously this person's having a hard time, so I know they're kind of sad or whatever. It's further than that. It's deeper than that. It's much more, it's like, try this on for size. Go to a store, or, the grocery store is a really good place to test this theory for yourself, and walk around and see if you can tune into people's emotions. Sometimes this is also coming through your sleep. If you are, waking up in the middle of the night and having feelings that you don't know where they're coming from, it can be coming from people around you. There can be, because your defenses are down in the middle of the night. So an emotional empath is someone who really senses the emotions of other people. And it is a gift. Okay, not everybody does it. Not everybody's like that. You might think everybody's like that, but they aren't. Okay. The second kind is really it's taking it to another level. It's much more about telepathy. It's the ability to even have higher conversations. So it's not about just intuiting what other people are feeling. It's about the ability to tap into telepathy and be able to talk back and forth in your mind to people. Now, this generally comes through an experience of twin flame, where telepathy is a gift that shows up in twin flame couples. And so usually the empaths that have this type of gift are twin flames. Okay, they have this ability to tap in, and it's usually just about one person, but that's where it starts. It's something to develop. Like all of these skills, it's something to develop. So the second kind is the person who has telepathy. And that, like I said, usually comes through a twin flame experience. The third type of empath is about people who are especially heightened to the feelings or to the emotions or to the energy of pets and plants. All right, flora and fauna, right? The animal or the fauna kind of person, kind of empath who really, these people. I definitely have this in my life about being an empath with animals. Where's Charlie? He's behind me here. And plants. A lot of times, even inanimate objects, like if I see something that looks, if I am in my house and I'm like, oh, that doesn't look comfortable, or that looks like you're struggling or something like that, even to like things in my house, I straighten them out. I try to, I'm like, oh, that would be awful to be like left in that position. So I'm going to, make that little sweater more at home, right? And plants, like I definitely have brought some plants back to life in my house. And I have seen, you see it. You're like, oh, that looks so sad, right? And that feels sad to me. Or, the animals, it's not just enough. It's not your garden variety, no pun intended. It's not your garden variety of seeing a pet in distress. This is more about just being able to pick up on how they're feeling no matter what's going on. Being able to have that awareness of, oh, okay, this is something I need to attend to, right? Sometimes animals send out those kind of signals like, I need some help here, or I'm not feeling good, or I'm feeling excited, or I'm feeling this, or I'm feeling that. People who are really higher on the chart of this, they really pick up on the feelings. And, animals might be easier. Animals might be one of those that they have emotions. Plants also have emotions. The grass has emotions. This is why walking in nature for some empaths is so powerful, because not only are you feeling what's going on, like, the other day I was driving and you see a patch of trees that's just been clear cut, and you're just like, that just feels like, oof, to me when I do that, when I go by that and I see that, and you just are like, oh, that's terrible. I even feel that way about Christmas trees being left out for the garbage men after Christmas. I'm just like, oh, that just makes me so sad. So there's that. That's the third type, is the animal or the fauna kind of empath. The fourth kind of empath is claircognizant. So we're going to go through the clairs here. So claircognizant is a sense of just an inner knowing. This is high priestess energy. This is just an inner knowing, and you may have chalked it up to intuition. It's a little bit amped up from that. It's not just like I'm feeling this, I'm feeling that. It's a knowing. All right? It's a it's a certainty. You have some kind of certainty around a thing, whether you're in the vicinity of a bunch of people and you're like, okay, this is not going well. This is, I have a sense that there was some kind of game of high stakes poker being played in this conversation, and I have no idea. I don't even know what they were talking about, but there was something behind it, and you just know it, right? You just get it. So claircognizant is one of those, is the fourth type of empath. Clairaudient, I'm clairaudient. So when I'm reading, I hear things coming through. That is a type of empath. All the clairs are a type of empath. So we can just put that kind of under the umbrella, which is claircognizant, clairaudient, I hear things, clairvoyant, I see things, clairsentient, I feel things, like I get sensations on my legs, I get sensations in my body about, it's like you get like goosebumps and things like that. Okay, that's clairsentient. The claircognizant is the inner knowing. There's two kind of clairs that are kind of underplayed. Like you don't hear about them. You hear about clairvoyance a lot, but you don't hear about, I'm going to read this just to make sure I'm saying it correctly. Clairalliance means clear smelling, and clairgustance means clear tasting. So these two types of clairs are being able to smell odors that don't have any kind of physical source, being able to taste things and experience things. This is somebody, sometimes people taste tin, or they taste they have a taste when there's something going on in their vicinity. It's a little bit unusual, I want to say. Clear smelling, clairalliance is a little bit more, they're both connected, right? Obviously to each other. It's all like one little palette in there. But I think there was a movie where they were talking about walking around in a house and they smelled like the mother's perfume. Okay. So you could develop this if you have clairaudience, clairsentience, claircognizance, whatever. This type of thing is a kind of unique thing. But if you find that you're smelling things and it's not just a reminder of someone, but it's definitely has no physical source whatsoever. You're not chewing on tin and you're tasting tin. You're not, or peppermint, or you're smelling roses or something like that. And that is like, oh, my Aunt Ursula used to grow roses, and so that's an indicator she's around, right? These are things that are less than usual in the terms of the clairs. All right, so that was number 4. That was the all the clairs are a type of empath. And, that's kind of a large group of people, but I wanted to kind of bulk them in so you could kind of compare the two. And it does seem to me that once you kind of recognize that you have one of these, you can develop some of the others. Okay. The 5th type is about somebody who is precognitive. Now, this is somebody who is a psychic and an empath that can see the future, that can show patterns and spot patterns and see what's going to happen. And, a lot of times you see tarot readers sort of predicting the future. A lot of times you see that. And when that does go down, or predicting something that happened and you're like, yeah, that happened to me 2 years ago, but it has relevance to the pattern that's going on now. That is somebody who's a precognitive empath. And I'm going to distinguish a little bit. There's a medium or a psychic empath as well. And this is intuitively understanding things. There's a little bit of a difference in how these tools play out. Precognitive, you could get flashes of things, which brings me back to the clairvoyant. But this is definitely for the purpose of something that's happening in the future, and it is about that psychic capability. I want to differentiate a little bit the mediums of the world. So this is 5 and 5A, I guess. The mediums are tapped into the afterlife, and they might see, ghosts in their house or spirits in their house. They might have conversations with spirits in their house. So they're tapped into a psychic frequency of people who've passed on. All right, the ancestors, they're very tapped into this. So that's 5. All the precognitive, the medium, the empath, that's 5. That's the 5th type of empath. The 6th type of empath is the one who is very connected to the earth, to Gaia. All right, the 6th type of empath is really caring about what's going on. This is a little bit connected to the animal and the fauna kind of empath, deeply connected to what's going on with the earth. And you see that in a lot of some of the newer generations. There's more and more of earth-based empaths. And those folks, their purpose is about helping the earth survive, really in a very literal kind of way. They can feel it. They're like, oh God, this isn't going well, or I need to jump. They feel like the need to jump in and do something because they hear like Mother Earth kind of like crying and all of that. Those are geometric or earth-based empaths, all right? Earth-focused empaths, not based, earth-focused empaths. Now, the last type, there's many, many more. No, there's 2 more. There's many, many more types. If you string out all the clairs, right, there could be dozens and dozens of types of empaths. But these are the empaths that I've definitely come across. The second to last one is a dream empath, someone who is very able to remember dreams, tapped into their dreams. They can speak on dream psychology, but also the symbols make sense to them. They can see how things work with each other. So person is also somebody really good at remembering dreams and paying attention to the dreams. And you can develop this. I went through a time in my life when dreams became super important, and I would even go into them and walk around. And this sort of translates into a next level of combining the telepathy and combining moving around in frequency, moving around in the spirit world, moving around in the energy that's separate from this physical experience that we have. So teleportation and all of these things. The dream empaths are really skilled at understanding dreams and helping us work with dreams. So those people are very, very important. And the final one I'm going to talk about today is the Heyoka Empath. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. And that is known, I'm just going to read this to you, as a spiritual clown or a spiritual fool. And don't take offense to that, please, because really this comes from Native American Lakota tribe, Dakota tribes, about, being a spiritual mirror for other people. Heyoka Empaths also sort of root themselves in twin flame, because twin flames are all about mirroring energy. So a lot of twin flames are Heyoka empaths, and stepping into Native American culture can be incredibly expanding. This is kind of a rare type. Okay, so because of this mirroring thing, I think a lot of people assume that they are a Heyoka. But I'm going to say to you that if you don't really have any connection or feel any draw toward Native American culture, that might not be the case for you. It may be something that is steeped in one of the other clairs or one of the other types of empaths. And so just know, I definitely recommend past life regression if you're feeling a real connection to Native American culture or the Mayan culture or any of the Indian cultures. You might want to consider doing a past life regression to see if you are connected in this way. Okay. And so that's really sort of my list. But I will say to you, I'll give you a bonus one that I was thinking about talking about that I really didn't talk about. This is about, do you hear that? This is about being psychometric, okay? And this is about being able to hold someone's scarf and tell you about, Nanny Elliott, whose scarf this was, or, this is the people who work with the police in finding bodies, finding, perpetrators of crimes and all of that kind of stuff. They're very, very skilled at, the energy of an object is helping them understand the energy of what went on with that object. Okay, so that's a little bonus one, the psychometric one. But there are many more than what I just said. So if you have an empathic ability, please share it with me in the comments. That I didn't mention. I would love to hear about it. I would love to hear your experiences about it. Please drop a comment down below. If you like the content I create, please like, subscribe, and share. Many thanks to you guys for creating this massively awesome community of empaths. So I want to thank you for being part of this and helping me to understand the gifts that we are in communion with on this channel. So thank you very much. Charlie says hello. I'll see you tomorrow.